Hello and welcome to Simple Life Philosophy. I'm your host, Ed Raby. I'm on a journey to find a simpler philosophy of life that is both easy to understand and easy to execute that leads me to both peace of mind and productivity. And I'm inviting you along on that journey. Um, Today is a day to celebrate subscribers because I went away for 4 days and I have three more. Maybe I should go away more often. Um, But thank you for every like, share, subscribe, do the things that YouTube people do and help me grow the channel. I'm going to continue to work on this channel, continue to grow it. So thank you very much for all your support. Today is a personal journey, kind of a log of it. I usually do these things on Thursday, and I'll talk more about a little bit of channel news as I get to the end. But this has been a very frustrating week from a YouTube standpoint. Wanted to take a couple days off to work on intros and outros, and nothing. A lot of things stole my time, including my own procrastination at times. But also, once I did sit down and start working on it, I just got very frustrated with the process and realized I need to think through exactly what I want to do. The thing about an intro and an outro that it'll do for me is I can just slap those to the beginning and the end of any video, and I can just get into the meat of the video. And I don't have to spend the time doing the intro and the outros all the time. Although the intros and outros are a little bit more personal this way, I just want to sometimes get into the meat of the video sometimes, and I just want to get there. So that was frustrating. I realized that I'd let my apartment go a little bit from a cleaning standpoint, so today I cleaned it up a little bit. I've got my garden in phase two, so to speak. My first phase kind of failed. I planted a lot of tomato plants and, simple gardening noob logic here. I should have really researched how tall the plants that I had were going to get because they outgrew my planter, went at least a foot beyond what I'm in. At that point, because of the way they're anchored in, which is not anchored very well at all, they kind of just fell over. And I didn't want to lose them, so I tried to transplant them, and that didn't work either. They kind of just wilted and died on me, and so I just, so live and learn. I think with those kind of tomato plants, you really have to plant them in dirt so they get good roots and have good stuff where you need to support them with some sort of support, which I just don't have the ability to do right now. So I'm doing phase two of that, but that was a little bit frustrating. But the sunny side of that is I'm now planting some leaf lettuce in my hydroponic planter, and I already have some leaf lettuce growing in some regular planters, and I want to see if the hydroponic planter can cause those leaf lettuce to kind of catch up with the other ones that have been planted like 2-3 weeks ago. So, and that's another thing. I've really got to get a journal and mark down the days that I plant things and what I plant, and from now on. And I got to, be a little bit more scientific and keep the records like I'm supposed to. But I've got other plans. I've got some more pots. I've got some more stuff for my hydroponic planter. I'm gonna probably put some leaf lettuce in there. I've got some beans that my mother gave me. I've got carrots and onions and leeks, and I bought some new beefsteak tomato plants that I'm going to plant as well. And I'm also thinking about utilizing this big window, and maybe I'll get my camcorder out and start showing you some of the stuff here in a little bit once I get it finished. But it's just, I'm really taken off of this from an autism point of view and from a future career point of view. I've been wrestling with this. I've had my family and friends ask me why gardening, and it's like I need an activity that maybe I can turn into a business of some sort that also calms my nervous system down, the activity in and of itself, and I can make money at it. That's why I'm also pounding away at the writing thing too, because I've gotten better over the years as a writer, and I know a lot of writers that finally got productive and famous in their 50s. So I'm working for that. So I got my novel going. I got my personal journey from faith to atheism going, and I'm still working on my blog. I've got a couple series on my blog, and I'm posting my writing notes there again too. So a lot of changes, and that's frustrating, and that's something I'm struggling with is change. I know change is inevitable, and I think as a Stoic, I deal with change uh, better because I realize it's going to happen, and then I focus on what I can do something about. And part of what I do about stuff and change is have my routines that don't change, that kind of stabilize everything else. And when I get away from that, I get problems, and I eventually just struggle with a lot of things whenever I get away from my routines. And I really have to focus in on that. I am looking forward to, I've got my one friend from Texas coming up soon for his 50th birthday. I'm going to make fun of him. And then I'm going to also see all my family it's been at least 2 years, I think, since all of us have been in the same place. My kids and their significant others and their children, and probably my ex-wife too. We'll all be together, and probably the first time in 2 or 3 years that's happened, maybe three. And so I'm looking forward to that. We're supposed to get family pictures, and my kids have said for a belated Father's Day gift, they're all going to hang with me and take me out to eat. So, man, that just doesn't get much better than that. Have all three of your kids deal with you, and I hope that works out because that's going to be one of those good days for me. I love my kids and I love hanging out with them, and since they've all grown up, I mean, I remember I used to love when they were all teenagers, just kind of bantering with all of them and hanging out with them, and that kind of disappeared once they all grew up, and I kind of miss that. So, a couple of weeks, I'm looking forward to that. So, um, it, I titled this "Frustrating Week," but I think here's the silver lining for me, and what I want to remember when I'm watching this video later is that as frustrating as a week this was, it's how much every time I tried to be productive, I hit the wall of either procrastination or a problem. And like yesterday, I was going to post a video, and the internet was down because they were doing maintenance. And so here we are today. And I could have gotten really frustrated about this. I'll just post it today. I'll just post it. And lo and behold, while I've been gone, the channel grew by a few subscribers. Thank you for joining once again. I don't know. I'm now at the point in this journey where I'm starting to deal with things a lot better. And I'm getting a clearer vision in my head of what I want to do. In fact, I've been starting to write down a series of stuff for this channel about my vision for the future. And I want to lay that out as a record so that, every year I can look back at it and say, how far have I gotten? And it's like, I think I went over this once before, but there's like 5 points that I'm going to try to push. And, one of them is my health. The other one is this channel. The other one is my writing career. Then also focusing in on gardening as a possible way of having a business, maybe making some money on the side, maybe even growing into a bigger business. I don't want to get so big that it starts to stress me out. But and then, what's the last one? There was another one. But yeah, I'm at this point where I just want to take those 5 things, flesh them out, put them on the wall, get a poster board, slap some pictures on the wall and do the thing, and try to focus on what I can do instead of what I can't. And the big thing that I now can come to grips with is that autism is not a death sentence, but it does mean that I really have to think about this dynamic between mind and nervous system. And the reason I have to think about that is my mind can trick me into thinking, hey, Ann, we got this. But my nervous system says, no, that isn't going to work. And when I push that envelope, that's when I get anxiety, and that's when I get depressed because my nervous system is overloaded and it starts to short circuit. I think that's the best way I can put it, is my nervous system starts to short circuit my ability to follow what my thoughts want to do. And, my therapist also theorized that I have a light case of ADHD, I'm just not attention deficit. My brain I think I've described this once before, but it bears repeating. My brain, from the moment I get up to the moment I go to sleep, is always thinking about something. The problem is it's usually thinking about 12 things. And I have to use routines to get through the daily stuff of the day and go to work, come back home in order to make myself function. But then I also, once I get a thought that my mind actually dwells on, I deep dive it for 2, 3 hours. And that's kind of the way it works. It's like my brain is out there searching for something to think about. When it finally finds something interesting enough, it just focuses, it laser focuses on it. And when that happens on some of my stuff that I'm trying to achieve, it's really good because I get stuff done. And, I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video when I came out of my therapy session a week, a couple Wednesdays ago. I talked a lot about with her about how coming out of my depression is a real rush. Like it it has that really good feeling when the depression starts to lift, and it's just like, yeah, baby, I can get some stuff done. And I get a lot of stuff done. But I've noticed now that the deep valleys aren't as deep and the high highs aren't as high, and I'm starting to level out. And it's simply due to the fact that I now understand better what the problem is. Like I have a better grasp on the problem. And so now I kind of can gauge it a little bit better about what I'm doing. And so that has been a real revelation for me. And so it's taken what could have been a very depressing and frustrating week and made it so it wasn't so bad. Made it so it didn't deep dive me so badly. Father's Day is always a hard day for me because my dad's been dead for so long and I still miss the hell out of him. But this time it didn't take me there. It didn't take me into that depths of depression for a day like it usually does. It was I was more at peace with it. I think I said on my other channel during my deconversion story that the year after I lost my faith is the year that I really came to grips with the fact that my father was gone and I was never going to see him again. And it allowed me to finally grieve. And I remember standing at the graveside and just weeping. And after that, though, I felt so much better about it. And this year I went to the graveside and it was like I cleaned off the military markers because they'd overgrown with grass, it creeps in those metal markers. And, I did that for my dad and I did that for my grandfather. And it was an introspective moment of how I'm alive and enjoying what I enjoy because of men who have died and have paid the price and have watched the wall. And humbling as that can be, it's just very humbling. I'm mixing up my words here because I'm getting a little emotional, but I can be liberal about a lot of things. I'm not very liberal when it comes to the military and honoring them and respecting them. I'm very conservative on that. I'm very conservative, incidentally, on guns. I'm very conservative when it comes to the economy and free speech. I think free speech, both sides try to stifle it, but the one thing I will absolutely do is salute the flag and salute the men that defended it. Because two of those men are my father and my grandfather. So it's something that now really tugs at my heartstring as a guy who follows a little Viking pagan philosophy too. There's the sense. We're not feasting in Valhalla, but there's a sense of cheers, gentlemen. Thank you. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm hoping from a channel news standpoint, I'm going to take it a day at a time. I'm tired of promising you guys stuff and not having it fulfilled. I really just need to keep the promise to myself that I'm going to work on a video a day and get it out and take some out of the extra time to work on some other things like I have way too many playlists. Some of them only have one video in them. I have outros, intros to do. I have ways of retagging titles, thumbnails, all that jazz that needs to be redone. And I've got a garden, an indoor garden to plant and grow, and I need to get onto my things so that I can focus and be more productive. That's what this channel's about. The end goal is peace of mind and productivity at the same time. And I'm trying to find a philosophy of life that does that for me, overcoming my obstacles and doing what I need to do. And that's where I'm at. And so this personal journey post is to remind myself in about a year, because a year from now I'm going to be going through these personal logs and looking back and seeing how far I've come in a year. Hopefully I've had good progress when I look at this a year from now. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate every like, share, subscribe, follow, share the video, hit the notification bell, do what you do. Make comments. I love hearing comments. If you have some thoughts or ideas, I always welcome them, so thank you very, very, very much. This has been your host, Ed Raby. This has been Simple Life Philosophy, and I'm going to wish you a great day.